Welcome, Philly Uncensored Sports Podcast. You catch us on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, and soon to come, I think Instagram or something. Boy. We here after I guess most of us could have projected this loss after we found out that I think yesterday we kind of knew Ben wasn't going to play, or he was 50-50 yesterday. And then we found out B wasn't going to play. Once that happened, it kind of honestly took the wind out my sails a little bit. I kind of foresaw us losing this game, and we did in classic fashion. What was the end score? We lost by like 30, almost 40.
94, more than 30. 94,
Too much,
132.
not enough.
Yeah. So exactly. So 94 to 132, we take the L. Giannis, Jamar, that's for you. Giannis.
Y'all was butchering that man name. Y'all was butchering that man's name last
Giannis.
What is his name? Jamar? I hope I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
He said it wrong.
Jameer. Yeah, that's for you, Jameer.
Jonathan, but go ahead.
He did the thing, especially at one point in the game where we kind of made a little comeback. Seth started doing his thing. He got out of a deep shooting slump. He was in the first half, and he rolled off a couple threes, bought us within 1 point, and then Giannis went off and scored. It helped them on I think they went on like a 20-2 or 20-0 run scoring spree led by him, and that was pretty much the end of the game. So after that, I mean, we can hand out complimentary participation awards to everybody on the Sixers who played well, but after that point, it was a rout, and the game was over.
Well, this ain't one of them games where we gonna enjoy doing this pod. It might even go in another direction off the Sixers game. So it's just one of them games. But hats off again to my man OG Bobby Johnson Portis. Even though he didn't shoot a lot of threes, he still balled. He had 17. He's only 1 for 3 from 3. He didn't shoot a lot of threes.
I told y'all.
But
I just want to.
Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
I just want to say I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Well, I think. Oh, go ahead. Did you have something to say, or that's?
I
all
did.
Go ahead.
This was actually a tough week for the Sixers. We went 0-4 the entire week. We lost key matchups, all the key matchups, starting with Golden State, and then Phoenix, and the back-to-backs with the Bucks. So what I say is Joel Embiid he knew he should have played that Phoenix Suns game. He was told that that's the game that he was going to sit out by the team, because the games that we needed most were these last two games against the Bucks, and because he played that Phoenix game, it kind of had a ripple effect on last game and this game. And so now, because remember when the Bucks, they were off for 3 days, so they knew that's why Doc in his press conference the other day said the reason why he didn't put Embiid on Giannis early on is because of the night before. He said that's the only reason. He said if it was a playoff setting, he would have stopped Giannis from the door. He said all the matchups that they did based off the last game was all predicated on the game the prior night against the Suns. So it goes back to Joel. I don't know if the team understood him not playing, but he wanted to play anyway. Now, was it heroic or was it selfish? I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Well, you talking about heroic or selfish? The one game you complaining about him playing in was the one game we actually had a chance to win, and that was the Phoenix game. Remember, we lost off the last second shot that rolled out the basket. That's the one game that was close the whole game throughout. That's why in that game, I thought Joel should have came back in because it was a chance to win it. I thought he should have came back in a little bit earlier, even out of the rotation, because guess what? If we would have won that game, all right, if he would have sat out the next game, though. So that's all I'm saying is if you got a chance to win, and the same thing everybody on here was talking about, well, no, the Bucks games is the most important ones. We got to worry about that. Did they worry about it? Because they sure ain't rushed Ben back, and they sure ain't play B. So the team itself wasn't worried about that for whatever reason like that. So that's all I'm saying is if we got a chance to win a game, go ahead and win that game if Embiid is playing. Now, that being said, I think once again, one of the things that I was mentioning, I know it was dismissed because we was talking about how good Danny Green, he played well a couple games. Once again, Danny Green couldn't get them open 3-point attempts. And once again, Danny Green struggled. All our 3-point shooters struggled because they couldn't get open shots because we didn't have Ben and Bede.
Nah, because these dudes is actually, if you look at their team, they're actually long pause. They actually got a lot of long defenders on their team. So they get out there and they get their hands up. But to what Ephraim said, they shot 50% the other night from 3 and 45% the night. So they wasn't bad. They wasn't bad.
But I knew they wasn't going to be crazy like they was the other night. And that's what I kept saying. And I firmly believe that if we had both of them, Ben and B, we would have won. I almost feel if we'd have had B, we may have had a legit chance of winning because that run they went on really kind of sealed the game, took the win ourselves. We don't have to buy. This is what I said. If y'all remember, whoever's listening and listened before, we talked about whether or not Sixers had a big three. And I said 10 years ago, Tobias would have been considered a big 10, 15 years ago before the merge, really before the merger of like the Boston team when Kevin Garnett and all that, and a real big three era began. Tobias before that time would have been a very good complementary player. But this now in today's game, he's not. He's a third. He should be a third option, maybe even a fourth option on a legit big three team. But I mean, you know, the team that we have, he trying. I'm not even going. I don't want to make this a Tobias bad session and hate on Toby, but I mean, he was 4 for 10. He tried. He jacked up some shots, but we just didn't have enough. Like we don't. We just.
But it's better with B. B makes him better.
I agree. So now I'll go back to the point that I was making before y'all cut me off, and I'll let y'all go ahead on your diatribe. So as I was saying about the 3-point shooting, we shot 20% from 3-pointers tonight. And when you run down the numbers, Danny Green was like 1 for 5, Maxey was 0 for 5, Danny, who was it? Hill was like 2 for 5.
But your point,
and it wasn't. But it wasn't
last game.
What you say?
Your point falls on deaf ears when last game they shot 45%.
But they still didn't shoot well. But
45% is good, very good.
Because they tried. What I'm saying is they're not getting the open shots like that. They weren't getting open shots like that. Now, this game, they had to try to jack them up and shoot them because they had no inside presence, but they still wasn't getting open shots. They just didn't take as many shots out there because they had to.
Okay, who are you saying? You saying Ben would have created so many open shots?
Ben and B would have.
I think B more than Ben. B more than Ben because he draws so much attention down low. Not saying Ben don't help, but I mean, like I said, last game Ben wasn't there and we shot 45%. We had good open.
How many of them did we shoot though? We shot a whole lot more tonight.
I don't think so. No, last game we shot a lot of threes too.
How many you think we shot last game?
They shot 20 and we shot I think 13 or 14 last game. Tonight I don't know what we shot.
Tonight we
shot more than that.
Tonight we were 7 to 31. We only shot 20%.
We shot 31. We shot 31.
I'm sorry.
Tonight,
we
right?
made we didn't shoot. We made 13 or 14 last game, and they made 20. They was 20 for 40. They were the game before.
So
we shot 7 for 31 tonight.
I'll look at what we shot last game, and I'll tell
you.
When
did we play? Thursday?
Yeah.
I'll let y'all know right now.
All right, let us know. Because I'm B shot 4.
12 for 27.
There you go. So you shot 4 less threes. 4 more threes today versus the other time.
We wasn't at 45. We was at 44. Still good.
45%. So that's what I'm saying. To me, it's more B, the impact of B than Ben, in my opinion. Not saying Ben doesn't help, but there's more the impact of B, and we missed him shortly. That's why I said if we had B, it would have been a different game. If we had both of them, obviously they've been a lot different. But
now, do y'all think B set out because he felt this game was unwinnable?
No, he was holding his shoulder the night before, and you know everybody knows.
Was he? He was holding his knee.
No, he was holding his shoulder. No, he was holding his shoulder during the game last. I forget the play it was, but he was holding his shoulder, and so I guess if he's not 100%, he can't function.
Well, you know the funny part about that is when he's had games where it was like he was shook up a little bit before, and it was like he possibly could play when he played against teams that didn't have a center and dominant center, and he could go in there and still dominate them anyway he played. I want to hear that tonight. Like I said in the previous podcast, and B's my favorite player on the team. I don't want to hear nothing from you. Can't tell me this wasn't.
Hold on. You said when the team had
doesn't have a dominant player.
Like don't have a dominant player inside.
Don't.
Yeah,
I think
when they didn't.
Okay, I agree.
And he'll come out and still play against them tonight. If we know you just lost the first place spot, we know how important first place is, and we know that the Bucks are coming up, and you could easily get put down to third place. You don't think this was an important game? You don't think this was an important game to play? Like, even if you're shoulder off, unless if you're telling me he got some serious damage in there and it's like he got to sit it out, this, that, and other. If it's stiffness in his shoulder, then just don't shoot. You just come out there, play defense, block with your left hand.
All right, but y'all also got to understand, this is the long game. You got to think, I get it as far as one game is close when they like
2
a
games
game and a half.
Three in a row.
They just lost. They just lost 4 games, but now you're losing 4 games in a row.
You always got to think big picture. Don't just think about how you feel right now. That's a feeling.
You don't think momentum is big picture?
Listen, the big picture is you want health going into the playoffs. You want health going. It don't matter how much of first place, second place you're in. If you don't have health, you're not going to win.
That's true, but ain't you a big proponent of having that first seed because we can't play on the road? Ain't that what your deal is?
Our schedule's real easy coming up. I think we have the easiest schedule in the NBA.
Yes.
Coming up.
And guess what? And my thing is, if we're sitting there and we're tanking against these big time teams, like to Ethan's point when he was saying about our record against the top tier teams, we need to get some wins against top tier teams.
No, if you could,
I agree. I think it's mental
because you're not getting tested against this against these trash teams. You're not getting tested.
We've gotten tested. We failed the test, so now you move on. Now you
you don't test yourself again.
You don't think that's mental? Going to say you face them in the playoffs and we got swept. You don't think that's mental? You don't think they have a mental edge?
We beat the Clippers already last week
without Kawhi.
It's all right. They had Paul George and they had snipers. They was balling. They came in as the hottest team in the NBA at that time without Kawhi playing those games, and we knocked them off. So we can be. We have 2 quality wins against the Lakers. We beat.
They were quality wins. Did Brown and AD play when we beat them the second time?
The first time when we played them, we beat
You mean
them.
when we had the lead and they almost came back and beat us?
But did we?
That was a quality win. Wayne, stop.
I know.
The first Lakers win was a quality win.
That we almost blew.
But I mean, to Ethan and Wayne's point, Tim, you name a West Coast team that we ain't going to see to the championship if we get there and if they get there. We talk about teams in our conference who we very well might see in the playoffs. This is the same point I made.
But we beat the Nets right after we played the Clippers. We beat the Nets.
We beat the undermanned Nets team. But listen, my point is they're saying we need to be tested against their full team and our full team. When you start losing games against these teams, you come in a little bit of a mentality already defeated. This is what I'm afraid of. This is why I said that next game to me was so important that we won when they had their benches.
They beat us, but they beat us with not our full roster. So how much of a quality win was it for them if they're not beating a full squad 6 team?
I agree. A win is a win, but at the same time, they smacked us down something real nice, at least in this past.
They did. I still feel the pain.
But my thing is, all right, you're saying we got a sweet schedule the rest of the way out. That's all well and good.
We do.
Right? But now think about it like this. If you would have played and beat this Milwaukee team, then against the sweeter teams, B might be able to rest against Orlando. He might have been able to rest against, not against Washington.
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Closer to the playoffs.
Closer, exactly. So because now we got the lead. We got a close. We beat now. Even if we do end up in a tie situation, we at least may have had some kind of good, tie-breaking situation, whatever, or some type of advantage going in late into the season, and we could have rested them against these quote-unquote weaker teams. So now we're gonna be playing for our life. Now, you think if Ben and B, Ben and B don't play against Charlotte, that's a guaranteed victory?
No, but we finished our last 2 games against Orlando, who are in tank mode. So even if we going in, we can sit out all our starters and
how many games you got left altogether?
Go ahead. See, this is the problem with Tim, because Tim don't care if he just like as long as we get to win. I don't care if it was this, that, no. As long as we get to win, and that's fine for the record. But when you actually have to play against, that's even like George Hill. George Hill and Ben Simmons ain't played together yet.
Exactly.
George Hill ain't played in his natural. Yeah, you saying exactly, but now you just saying so. You just going when it's time. We just want to turn it on. Everything is going to mesh together.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
But that's not going to work like that.
What I'm saying is the team. We got about 12 games left. We play OKC, which is going to be a sweet victory. Trae Young is hurt. We got Atlanta twice.
You think OKC going? Yeah, it might be sweet.
See, that's what I'm saying. Right. You just calling stuff like it's
no. Trae Young is not. He his injury ain't that bad.
But I'm saying he's still sitting out though. He's still got a high grade sprain that he's still out. He's not playing right now. So, but what I'm saying is, as the team, let them gel. Let George Hill get in the rotation. Let him get his playoff roster together, and then let's go in there and let's battle. And then when we go in there, the first round is going to be a test.
So how are you going to get them together if they never playing?
They are going to play. They're going to play.
How do you know? How do you know? It's like every other game. They questionable.
What's up with Ben? Is he on his deathbed? Is he laying there with like IVs in his body?
Well, Doc did say that he's feeling better. He talked to him yesterday. He also talked to him a little bit today. And he said he's a lot stronger than he was a couple of days ago. So he should be back. If not Monday, definitely by the Atlanta game.
That sounds like the Rona. Wow. Covering up. He might have a Rona wrong or something.
No, they ain't gonna cover nothing up. If somebody got the Rona, the league ain't playing like
that. Wait a minute. If not Monday,
Monday's our next game.
All that. If he coming up negative, they ain't playing games.
He might have that secret strain. They might not know he got the Rona, but he got that African or that. You know what I mean? Or that was that
Italian or Europe or something.
Yeah, it was like 8 strands out there.
The South African one.
Don't forget. We missing our sniper. We missing our sniper.
You mean bomber? The
bomber. That's right. Our bomber. A bomber.
We got to build a bomber.
What's up with Court? When he coming back?
I don't know. He should be back. It was a sprain. It didn't look too bad to me, but it wasn't me.
See, that's what I'm saying. We need somebody that's born, come from the projects or something. That's what we missing on this team. The one dude that we got that's like that is Mike Scott, and he ain't got no skill. Yeah. But that's what we need. We need to do with skill. Like we need somebody like Julius Randle look like if he wasn't playing ball, he'd be.
We have no street dudes.
You know what I mean? I've been told y'all that. I told you about that about our Eagles linebacker core. We was talking Eagles talk, but I mean we're gonna save it for the Eagles season. But I agree with you.
All our players got 2-parent households. That don't work in NBA.
You need somebody from a broken family. You need somebody
family. Highly emotional.
Yeah, highly emotional. My mom is the MVP.
Right. My dad left me when
who been locked up at least one time. Y'all play yourself.
My best friend got shot in the.
Did Tawana tell you that? That's the that's what you need something like that. You need Ann Iverson. She had a kid. You need somebody that had that child at 13. We don't got nobody.
Yeah, we need somebody that got some hardship stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We got nothing.
Little versity. They need a little versity in their background.
But you know what? Speaking seriously, on a serious note though, like when we talk about adversity, and this kind of goes to a point we was talking about the other day when we was talking about if Ben and Bede are self-motivated. No, neither one of them are, like I said the other day. And I think that Bede came out and said something right after that and was talking about how he was motivated to be because Shaq and them was ripping him. That's what motivated him to want to be MVP. So for all that, voters, whoever's voting for the MVP, don't give him MVP. I officially want him. I want him crying when they get announced during the playoffs who's MVP.
All right,
and
but
then come out and play like a man.
No. See, I think we.
What's up?
At least to me, we define self-motivation a little incorrectly. All right. Self-motivation is when you can use other things to motivate yourself. It's not necessarily somebody constantly in your ear pushing you. If you telling me you took a quote or a saying from Shaq and Barkley, and that motivates you, to me, that's self-motivation. That's what Jordan used to do. Jordan used to take quotes, either switch them up in his mind, or he would hear somebody say something. You would hear, whatever talking heads was out at the time, and you would take that what a coach said, and you would use that to motivate yourself. Just because somebody said it, that's not them motivating you. You're taking what they're saying to motivate you. Now, if you have to have somebody constantly in your ear, like, come on, man, come on. To me, that's more of an outside source motivating you to greatness. But I think I mean, is he like this premier self-Jordan-like motivator? I'm not going to say all that, but I think he's self-motivated enough to average 30 points and dominate the league the way he's been doing it.
I think, though, when it's time to go, we could have used here? We could have used a Kyle Lowry to me. He got that type energy. I don't see that on our team, though.
He can match that Drew
like a Draymond Green.
He got that Drew Holiday energy.
Yeah, Draymond would have brought his whole 8 points in here. We'd have won.
and 19 assists and 12 rebounds.
What, in one game, or are you talking about for a career or season?
I mean, I'm just saying he did a
You
game.
talking about one game? You talking about one game? Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Draymond just had. Wait a minute. Draymond had 19 assists and 12 rebounds in the game.
Yeah, just the last game they played
against the Joker.
Yeah.
And
Draymond, hold on.
And he put the clamps on the Joker. He put the clamps on the Joker.
Draymond did. Hold on. That's impressive.
Was y'all gushing when TJ McConnell put up all them assists and scored?
Yeah.
No, y'all wasn't.
Draymond did that against the Joker.
Draymond held the Joker to 17 points.
Oh, Draymond did his thing.
He only had, the funny thing is he only scored 2 points.
Notice Ephraim wanted to try to find a way to go ahead and put.
I'm juggling Draymond and Ben again. Don't
juggle Draymond and Ben. Don't juggle Draymond and Ben.
Draymond has, and that goes back to our original point as far as him being the greatest.
You're right, playing balls. You know, I'm not juggling him. I'm not juggling him.
But
that's what it looked like to me.
I got him on the scale. You know,
y'all out of. Hey, Tim, bring some order to the podcast.
I got a point I want to bring up.
Tim, bring some order to the podcast.
I want to bring. I got a point. What do y'all think about the officiating in that game?
Officiating's been terrible all year.
This game in particular, the officials really they
got you hot, Wayne.
It did. That joke was hilarious.
You know, Doc picked up a technical foul. We got 3 technical fouls in the first half alone. The white guy is now his very next technical foul. He's actually going to be suspended. Doc said he wants him to get it tomorrow.
Just get it out the way.
Just to get it out.
I agree. Now let me ask you this, because I'm not up to date on the rules. Once you get that tech and you get suspended, does it reset now?
It don't.
I believe so.
No, I think it goes to another tier. It's like then it's another tier.
Like you get like 3 or 4, then you get suspended again, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, he might as well just slam the basketball right in front of an official, which is still so absurd to me that slamming the ball can get you a technical. But he need to get called for a foul and just slam the ball right in front of an official and get a tech and then get it.
But he ain't even gotta do it on purpose. He'll do it by mistake.
He's gonna get it
just on instinct. but this is kind of to the point that you make, because I agree with you, Tim, about the officiating. I thought it was horrible, and I'm one of the ones that used to be like, I don't want to hear that about it. It was horrible. It was like blatant calls that kind of went toward, but Milwaukee was the team at home with their stars playing. And this is another reason why it bothered me that Embiid didn't even at least try to give it a go, because you give your team some kind of an edge when your star players in there, they're likely to give him more of those close calls and let the calls be more balanced. When you don't have that
picture,
you keep talking big picture.
Big picture. This game will mean nothing in 3 weeks.
If they get moved down to third place, and then end up having to play the Knicks instead of playing somebody like Atlanta in the first round, it will make a difference.
Well, here's the thing: if you got an injured Embiid, you're gonna be in the 6th place.
What?
If you get an injured Embiid, you're gonna wind up in the 6th or 7th place.
It is, but these injured. I mean, this is where I'm kind of agreeing with Wayne. Like, I'm trying to gauge people's mental toughness. Like, is a shoulder injury really that significant where if you play, it's going to shut you down for the rest of the year, or it's going to shut you down to the playoffs? I mean, I don't know. I mean, some honestly, some stuff you just, and I hate to overuse the word man up. Sometimes you got to man up and play. Like, just go ahead and ball, bro. Like, I play for free, injured, for free, for nothing, with nothing on the line except my job and my family. I could have easily got hurt.
Yeah, a whole lot on the line.
I could have easily got hurt. I mean, but come on, man. Like, sometimes it's I don't know. Like, to me, I think we get in this mindset nowadays with just too much. It's too much coddling. It's too much coddling going. This is the millennial stuff. They done started something we can't shake these dudes. I remember Wayne used to always say that was a good point about this, even that losing mentality. When we first started off with Brett Brown, we started losing. We was tanking. And that followed into his tenure here, and that's why he should have been going. And also when they started doing the management, the time management with Ben, all that kind of stuff like that, like that got him into this. Even though sometimes he was bucking against it, I'm not going to hate on B and just say he was all for it, because sometimes he got mad and he threw his little tantrum when they pulled him out.
He did.
However, it did this create a little bit of a little bit softness like that. you're not playing through a shoulder injury. That's not really that bad. You just had some ice on it. Like, come on, bro.
I mean, he a big dude, man. He a big dude. 7'2". You know what I gotta look at?
I buy that if you're talking about.
I gotta look at.
I agree, Wayne. That's what I'm saying.
I gotta look at Shaq's games.
What about him?
How many games he played a season? What was his average?
Yeah, look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I don't think I remember Shaq missing a whole bunch of games like that.
Well, that's what
I think Embiid misses games on like an unprecedented level when you talking about like in stars in the league. Only person that might miss as many might be Kawhi.
Nah, Shaq missed a lot of games.
What years you talking?
While y'all doing that research, let me ask y'all this: do y'all think Daryl Morey's done enough to make this team better, like to make a championship? Because when I look at the Bucks made some significant upgrades, getting PJ Tucker in there and Drew Holiday in there, and getting rid of George Hill. Like they really upgraded their team, their roster to compete for a championship.
I agree.
Has he done enough?
No,
I've been telling y'all this. Tim gets all hype about Tolliver and 10-year journeyman and George Hill. I told him these dudes, they're okay, but they ain't enough. We really needed like a Kyle Lowry or something, man. George Hill's a nice little player, but he's not Kyle. I would have took Kyle over George Hill, man. I'm sorry. We needed another star on his team. That's the way the league is.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs, stars win games.
You think Kyle Lowry's a star this year? Like you put him up as star. You still
he's better than George Hill.
Kyle Lowry would have been more of a motivational dude. He'd have been more of a Draymond.
I mean, Kyle Lowry went 1 for 10 against the Knicks today for 4 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not all hype up on Kyle Lowry like Ethan.
I say Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry's averaged 17 a game too this year.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not that hype on Lowry.
I'm not either. I mean, I wouldn't have mind getting him. I just don't think that he's as big a name as y'all making.
Let me put it like this: who would have you? We all have. Have you ever seen Kyle Lowry take over a game?
Yeah, I saw.
Have you ever seen George Hill do it?
No.
That was. I like how you used that. Was a good point.
I mean, I would have to agree with that. I mean, but what would it cost you? To me, they were trying to ask too much for Kyle Lowry.
That's the point.
You want a chip? We only got the windows.
What did you have to give up for George Hill versus what you had to give up for Kyle? That's like 2 first-round picks for Kyle.
And they wanted Matisse, and they wanted like a bunch of.
I keep telling y'all, Embiid's window is 3 years max.
Well, let's look at. We was on a topic about Shaq real quick. I'm gonna come back.
No, because Shaq did miss a lot of games.
He did. Well, I'm gonna look at his first 10 years. His first 10 years, his first 2 years, 81, 81. All right, 81, 81. Then 79 his third year. 52, 51, 57, 49.
Oh.
Then he went up to 79 and 74, and then I think the 10th year is 66. And then he played way more years after that, but I'm just looking at the first 10 years. The next years is all kind of up and down. It was 66, 67, 73.
You do this. He's from
58.
Go to his championship years. How many games he played those?
The championship years was
Shaq lost. He missed a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look.
But see, Shaq was giving you though. And was he giving you? He's giving you beat-like numbers.
The championship years was 2000 to 02, right? That was before that was in LA. So 2000 to 02 games played. Not my phone. All right, here we go. 2000 he played 79 games. 01 he played 74 games. 02 he played 66 games. So for
which one of them wasn't one of them years a strike season? The strike shortened season, whatever year that was when the Spurs won, wasn't it a strike shortened season?
No, we was looking at the Lakers one when the Lakers won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was 79, his 2000, 79, 74, and 67 in that 3-year run. I mean, if you want to look at a 5-year window around it, the year before, it was 49 games, 79, 74, 60.
Did he get hurt that year?
67.
But that was a strike year. Was it strike year to 49?
Maybe. That might have been a strike year. I'm not sure what year was the strike year, to be honest with you.
All right, so bottom line is what?
The bottom line is, but see, all right, the bottom line is Shaq missed games too. However, we do have to admit that was way, way more physical of an era that he played in, where people literally was hanging off Shaq's body consistently. You was allowed to do a lot more banging. Now everything's a technical, everything's a flagrant. So, I mean, granted, big men get hurt, but the game has changed. The game has changed. And B don't bang down as low as much as Shaq did either. Let's be clear about
this year. He has been more though.
But not as much as the Diesel. Diesel, that's whole all game Shaq did. Was inside. His whole game was inside.
But y'all gotta understand one thing. You know how New Jersey has a rookie head coach, and he listened to the players and not to like the science. So to like team doctors or coaches where they may be telling you, you know what, you got to pace James Harden. I mean, he's balling. He looks like he's the MVP. Everybody swore up and down he was going to win an MVP, but you're going hard. Like he was coaching like how Wayne wants us to coach a B. Let's just play the man, play him. And guess what happened? He got hurt. He got injured. No telling when he's coming back.
You know why he went hard? Because you had the other two chumps sitting out every other game. So he had to play.
Matter
so he played every game because the rest of the players.
And in this season, you have to pace them and according to their body, according to the science.
Bro, he didn't set out 20 games.
They're human beings. They're
20
human.
games.
They're human.
All right, so let me ask you this then. Did them 20 games eliminate him from the MVP race?
Probably.
Yeah.
See. First of all, let's address. 3 of us in here work where we lift things up and move stuff around all day, and one of us in here sits at a desk all day. So,
guess who it is?
Guess who it is?
Guess who it probably is. Think about the person who got a hat on backwards.
No. What are these kids doing their own thing?
I got carpal tunnel.
What are these kids doing their own thing? Villanova, man. But look, check it out. I mean, the game, like I said, we lost. We knew we was going to lose. Once B didn't play, we all knew we was going to lose this game. I think once B and Ben wasn't playing, to me, it was a form. It would have been a miracle, like Tim said in one of our polos. It would have been a miracle if we had even got close to the end in this game to be able to pull it out. So it was what it was. I mean, we move on. Now, hopefully by the time we see the Sixers again, Bede and Ben will be playing in the game. But I do think this has taken Bede a little bit out of the MVP running. I know Shaq was trying to campaign for him, but Kenny and Barkley was kind of saying the same thing about like 20 games at the time was 18 games. Now it's 19 games. Yeah. So 19, 20 games, that's a lot. Like you have to draw the line.
How many games did Joker miss this season?
None. I still don't think he missed one yet.
You knew that. You was going for that.
But listen, let's be clear. He don't play the same way B plays.
Yeah, he don't bang like that. He don't.
Yeah, but he handled the ball. He handled the ball a lot more. He do a lot more.
He does. He a point center. Never seen that before.
So as the point center, he don't even have to come down half the time. He stayed at the free throw line. He don't even go down.
And how much is he averaging? So he just sitting up there passing the ball. He not scoring nothing. He not getting no rebounds.
It's easy to shoot.
When Wayne turn on you, he turns on you big time.
No, listen. I'm just frustrated with B. No, for real, that's my guy. But I'm frustrated because this kind of stuff irks me with him. Like, because you know that always burned me up about him because of that little dumb stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like like even when he fell the other day, and it was like, oh, like he's dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if he just reminded me like that one dude. See, I can't say it. It's a meme like that they be having on TikTok. And they be talking about how the millennials react, and then how like they reacted in the 90s, and how they react like and how the young ones act now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that's
a whole lot more theatrics. There's a whole lot more theatrics. Everything. Yeah, I mean,
that's like him walking out there, like for real. The optics of stuff, like. Remember, he coming out during the game, right? He comes out there as the shoot around going on, and he got like the ice pack underneath the shirt. You had all day to ice that up. You ain't got to ice that right now.
Listen, like, Jordan was the best actor ever, especially that flu game. Like he had big and carried up the court.
Exactly. That's theatrics.
Remember, and you gotta remember, Embiid is also the dude that came in the Toronto series and that pivotal game, and he's I'm sick. Mike wasn't walking like he was dead like that, and like he couldn't move. Mike might have been doing the acting like he was sick, but then he was jaying Bulls' heads off. He walking like he brought the whole team down, looking like he was dying. Like I'm gonna try to get through the game. Like, come on, bro. Don't make me go in on my dude.
Yo,
Like
Wayne is on a roll today.
it
hurt, don't it, Wayne?
It's hurting me this year.
It
Man.
hurt, don't it? Watch
Hey,
him
Wayne,
beat.
somebody get that dial. Somebody get that dial from Wayne.
Players play against good teams.
somebody get that dial. we Sean's gonna dial, Wayne. We hurt you. But I mean, let me ask you this. Now we did talk about, and I don't know if this is for the podcast or not, but we talked about Draymond and Ben. I mean, which I early in the season, very early, I said I'd take Draymond over Ben. Then at a certain point, I said no, I'm taking Ben over Draymond. Draymond has actually made quite the resurgence lately, where he almost playing like old Draymond back in 2014, 2015 Draymond. He been balling this year a little bit, especially with not really necessarily with the scoring, but especially with the rebounds and assists. I think he had 3 games this year where he had over 15 assists.
And his defense been top notch.
His defense has been very impressive. This dude pretty much held in check B and Joker, 2 of the best big men in the game today. He held Joker to 17. I forget how much B ended up having. I think B had 26 that game or something like that. And not saying he shut him down and not like that, but he did an excellent job.
Even though he only scored 2 points.
Yeah, I know he's only scored. That's why I said the scoring ain't there, but 19 assists and 2 rebounds. You don't have to give me no. At that point, you might can give me 0. If you give me 19 assists and 12 boards and hold your man, the best big man or the second or first big man in the game to 17 points, you don't gotta give me nothing. You're on the offensive tip. You don't gotta give me no points.
But wait a minute. You talking about how much of a tear he on? Okay, he had 19 and 12, but then against Washington, he had 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 points. Against the Sixers, he had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists.
And he held B in check.
5 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists. Like he putting up Ben Simmons, he putting up almost Ben Simmons numbers.
No, he is, but at the same time,
almost Ben Simmons numbers.
At the same time, his defense has been spectacular.
Almost Ben Simmons numbers.
So a 12-year veteran is still doing
what? He said 12 years.
Yeah, like doing the same thing that Ben is doing now.
But you don't. But stop. This is why. So you happy with Ben doing that? You really putting is actually disrespectful to Ben. It should be, but it's not. That you can even compare the two. That we can even have this conversation shows you what level Ben is on.
That's very true.
Y'all comparing it too. I don't think it's a choice.
It's comparable.
No, the two are very comparable.
I'm taking Ben all day.
The two are very comparable.
Let me ask you this:
twice on Sunday.
Is Ben still in the running for Defensive Player of the Year? And he didn't guard Giannis. My bad, Jamar. He didn't guard Giannis these 2 games.
The NBA released their Defensive Player of the Year rankings yesterday, and he's still in second place.
Who's at first?
I can't remember. Let me look it up. But go ahead. He's still second.
Stop coming with stuff like that.
He's second.
What's the top? You gotta give us the ranking of the top 5 so we can properly say whether he should be in second or not. Because I got my own ideas and opinions on where Ben should be at as the regard defensive player. Because I think Matisse is a better defensive player than Ben. Put Matisse on the list. Where he at?
I see one from 4 days ago.
What they
Rudy's
say?
number 1. This is the one I see.
So y'all taking Ben?
Rudy number 1 and Ben number 2.
So Tim, you personally think Ben Simmons is a better defender than Draymond Green?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Because Draymond Green,
I'm not gonna say better. I think they're comparable.
Go ahead, Tim.
I like Draymond, and he's a dominant player. I'm not even going to hate on him. I'm just saying, as far as what Ben does for this team, I'm taking Ben Simmons.
I'm not saying that. I said better defensive player. That's what we're talking about.
I'm taking Ben Simmons.
I think Ben Simmons plays the passing lanes better, but Draymond is a better physical on-ball defender.
Yeah, Draymond plays the passing lane very well.
This is what I look at as a defender to be the defensive player of the year. Does your defense change games?
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ben does. I think Ben's and Draymond does.
I think Rudy's does too.
I do think Ben should be in the top 5, maybe 10. But is he better than Draymond? Ben says to us, right? This is Ben. I could guard all 5. When you say I could guard all five, what does that mean to you?
It means you guard them all well.
Yes.
Well, but that's all I say about the Rudy Gobert thing. And Ben Simmons is, as much as I don't think that he is, like I don't think, because I think there's been too many times where he's got cooked again, and the talk as big as he talked. But I do think that he's in the top 3. But he made an excellent point when he said, "Listen, I dropped 42 on Rudy, and I ain't supposed to be able to be an offensive player."
I mean, yeah, he did good against Rudy. He did, this is why I honestly think when everybody gave Draymond, and Tim kind of touched on it earlier, I think we cut him off because we started talking about other stuff. But when Draymond mentioned
I do that a lot, but go ahead.
Yeah, we do.
As you cut him off.
We working on that, Tim. When Draymond says, "I'm the best defensive player of all time." All right. Now, at first glance, when somebody makes a statement like that, the first thing for everybody to do is hate him. No, what? You done had Gary Payton playing this league. You had Kobe, Jordan, blah, blah, blah. They go through the whole gambit. Yeah, Rodman, you done go through Ben Wallace. You go through a lot of people who play great defense in this league. However, I will say this. I've watched, as y'all know, a lot of Golden State games. I've seen Draymond guard all 5 positions and guard all 5 positions very well. How many people historically can you really say that about? How many people can you say that about?
I think that guarding to be honest, for me, that guarding all 5 is overrated as far as defender. To me.
No, it's not. That means which
versatility.
Hold up. You just contradicted your own statement. Because you said earlier that defensive player means you change the outcome of a game.
Yes.
So if you're telling me you could guard all 5 positions well, I'm not just saying guard them, I'm talking about guard them well. You telling me that doesn't change the outcome of a game?
I think your man in the middle who can swat stuff away change the outcome of a game more than a guy that can guard all 5.
No, I don't agree with that.
I think
like your
Rudy's,
Rudies, your Bam Adebayo actually blocked the game at a buzzer to win against Tatum tried to dunk on him and he blocked it. Like
that kind of goes to something a point that I've argued with people before, because see, we give like a shot blocker get 2 blocks a game and he's a shot blocker, he changed the game. So you don't tell me that a guy that playing the passing lanes and picking off passes don't intimidate defense. Like when AI was playing, when Steph Curry plays the passing lanes. Remember when the Bulls that's what they used to do, play the passing lanes. And I remember them playing the Sixers, and they would shook the pass. It's like you looking, because it's like every time you throw it, Bulls getting a hand on it and stuff like that.
All right,
that's a big change.
So what's more intimidating? Somebody that going to beat your shot up when you come down, or somebody that play the passing lane? Let's be real.
I actually think it's kind of comparable, depending on how your team build up is.
No, I agree with that. First of all, Ethan, you got to you. All right,
you can bring a big man out the lane.
Let me give you a scenario. Who would you rather have on Sixers championship run, Mutombo or Theo Rat?
Theo.
Now Mutombo was better at blocking.
No, I think Theo was a better shot blocker that year. Theo always came on the backside, hitting weak shot blocks. Theo was monster at blocking shots.
I got to check the stats on that, but I mean career-wise.
I'm gonna check right now.
Career-wise.
But guess what? Real quick, Ephraim, to your point. See, you kind of because you said about a shot blocker that stand in the lane, and that's not what Theo was. You just said what Theo was. He came off of the wing. It's kind of like playing the passing lanes. You see that, and you running, and you getting that. We're not talking about a guy just standing in the middle like this. And even though they do intimidate and dictate a lot of stuff, but those guys that are athletic and can get around, and when you think you got something open and they come out of nowhere and clean it out, like exactly. That gets your head on the swivel. Like you worried about where the ball coming from.
That's exactly, and I agree with you 100%.
By the way, 2000, 2001, before Theo was traded away, he led the league in blocks that year with 3.7 a game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Theo was a great shot blocker.
But he wasn't just stand in the lane.
Historically, Mutombo was a stand in the lane, block his shot, grab, rebound dude, right? With the no. That was Mutombo. Everybody knew you tried to bring in the middle, Mutombo was going to go off your stuff. Theo was versatile enough. Theo could guard 3, 4, and 5. He could guard that. Now he couldn't guard a point in the shooting, but he could guard. He was athletic and quick enough and explosive enough to guard a small power and a center. So this is what I'm talking about. To have that type of versatility, to me, that means a lot. That to me is more valuable than just a big dude that stay in the middle and block shots.
Yeah, because that led to a lot of fast break points for Iverson. That's when when Mutombo joined the team, we was 500 the rest of the year. We played 500 ball.
Right, but the dudes I'm talking about, like, for instance, B don't just stand in the lane to block shots, but he's an intimidating shot blocker because he'll come from each side of the basket and block your shot. Most of the dudes nowadays don't stand in the lane to block shots. Bam Adebayo don't just stand in the lane to block shots. He'll come from one side he'll come from the weak side and block your shot.
And speaking of which, know who we missed? Who begged for us to sign with us, but instead he signed with the New York Knicks and got them balling? Nerlens Noel. He wanted to come back to the Sixers this year.
I agree with that.
And if him being on the team we would be still dominating right now.
But when was he trying to come back here? Was it when we still had Tony Bradley and all that? So where were you going to play him at?
Tony Bradley was a throw-in for that Zaire Smith trade. We didn't know he was going to lose 25 pounds and actually play well. In the offseason, the Sixers was flirting with Nerlens Noel, and instead they decided to go
and with Dwight Howard.
But I'm saying, had you signed Nerlens Noel,
so you wanted Nerlens over Dwight?
I would.
No, I don't want Nerlens over Dwight.
I would.
But Ethan, one last thing to your point though, when we talk about the defender who could guard all 5 positions, more often than not, who's your best player on the team? Is your best player on the team a center? In most teams,
you don't want your best. No,
so that's my point. So now, a defender like Draymond can guard your best player. So if he a big man who's just standing in it, let's say your best defender is your big man. Can your big man necessarily guard LeBron? Can your big man necessarily guard a 3 or 2? That's your best player. If your best defender can guard all 5, you put him on the other best player and he could possibly nullify him. You just can't do that just because he's a shot blocker. So you got to give that's why I do give Ben a lot of credit for being able to be versatile in defense. I don't think he's as good as he says he is, in my personal opinion, but he's a very good defender. There's no doubt about that. And I saw Ben, to me, honestly, I think Ben could be better at defense because I saw him in the end of games turn his defense up. That's what I will say about Ben. I saw him at the end of games really turn his defense up and get in clamp mode. If he played like that consistently, I think he definitely could be the best defender in the league. But right now, I would have to give, to me, it'd be Draymond Green.
I want racing cars on tracks just going 150 miles an hour. That's how y'all want your NBA players.
No, that's true.
It's a long season.
You're right.
I like we got to keep going around the track.
No, you're right. I used to burn on my Hot Wheels, my racing car. Remember the little ones you had to trigger and you put them on?
Mine used to jump off the track.
I would feel all this. I would feel all this in Embiid now, except for the fact he already missed 20 games. And that's why when he came back after the 10 games that he was off and he was talking about being in the MVP race, that was the main reason why I said he dropped in the ratings to me, because it's like, I already know you're not going to play every game the rest of the season. You're not going to.
Yeah, you're not.
Sorry, we don't want him to. We want him to be healthy going into the playoffs.
Yeah, but that was his reason for coming back and playing the game when he played the other game, and everybody was saying they thought he was going to sit out, and he was like, "No, I'm in the MVP race." He says I'm about the MVP race.
All
like,
right, yeah.
where's mine?
But if you get hurt, if you get injured, you don't want to just say
ain't no playoffs, ain't no chip, so we can't risk that.
Exactly.
So the MVP, he just handed it to Joker, Curry.
Okay. I'd rather for him to be holding up that MVP trophy.
You mean the championship trophy than the MVP trophy?
The MVP trophy in the NBA Finals. Get that one. If you want an MVP, get that one. That's the most important one to me.
You're right.
I agree with that.
Y'all, we are done for the day. Again, we got routed. Sixers lost. We were undermined, undersized.
I think Giannis is still somewhere.
Giannis.
With his foot on. I think Giannis. Did I say Giannis?
Yes.
My bad, Jamar. I think Giannis is still somewhere with his foot on Tyler's throat.
Wait, bro. Where did we get this bum dude from, bro?
Tim Lovely.
He's trash.
Tim Lovely.
Yo,
He's trash.
I looked at all the highlights. They was all the same highlights too. That's why I knew something was wrong. I was like, I like, my bad. All right,
I need Paul Reed back because I don't care what they say.
We'll be back after the OKC game on Monday night. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget
Steph Curry in the lead for the MVP, by the way. He just beat Bede and Joker, the two top candidates. So
Steph ain't getting it, but he's nice try. Nice try, Steph. Nice third place vote. Nice third place. Anyway, thanks for listening to the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. We out.
Deuces.